what the hell happened?
What did you do?
It just said that we couldn't be on Facebook for some reason, and I'm wondering if it happened. What happened with that? How we doing, guys?
See it up
I am the
there.
Great Went, joined by T. T is almost fully recovering.
Yeah, almost. One more week of this stupid contraption thing, and then and sleeping on the couch in an upright position. Hopefully, I can sleep in a bed again in a week. That would be nice.
I would make an Elephant Man joke, but somebody probably get mad at me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's stuck out in my childhood. I watched that movie on HBO or whatever when I was little, and that's what stuck out to me, that he couldn't lie down. I was like, that's rough, man.
That's rough, man. It sucks. I gotta tell you, like, not being able to lay down sucks, and sleeping in like little chunks suck too. Like not getting your regular sleep schedule that you're used to. Just I'm a mess. So yeah. Anyway. Woohoo! I'm here. This is great.
There it is. So we got the PHiSH is doing their, you can request tickets, I guess, through the 9th next Monday, and then they'll start sending the emails out. I was looking at the prices. What's up, Dave? How we doing?
What's going on, Dave? You like that Dennis interview? He was awesome. He was a lot of fun.
He was the best. There was
great. It was
so much there. And so much there that you have to. What's up, Michael?
You have to have them back because there's so much. Like, we didn't even talk dead stuff. We didn't even talk any of like the dead history or Jerry or anything. It was all like there's a little bit of tie-in to this book, but it was all based around this book and stuff. There wasn't anything that was about it necessarily. So very interesting though. Like, yes, such a wealth of information and knowledge and history and awesomeness. So a lot of fun. Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Swish. Yes.
So much, just a wealth of knowledge. It's like you're talking to a direct connection from one time to another almost. He knew these people we had.
Yeah.
It's always wild, always crazy. I got to talk to Richard Fury once. I got to interview him, and he was in Buffalo Springfield. I mean, and I was just like, dude, and then you were in Poco, and he's like, yeah, then I became a preacher. And I was like, what happened? Wait a minute, left turn.
There was a path. It was extremely interesting. Way to go.
All right. So this PHiSH tour, we were looking, we did the thing yesterday, of course. We did back-to-back microdoses yesterday for the first time ever, which was interesting.
It's the top two things we're going to talk about tonight.
Right. And they have the all-in pricing. When you go to reserve, it says the tickets are 105 plus fees for Alabama and Georgia, and 95 plus fees. So I'm just thinking, I was thinking about the price. The last time I bought a PHiSH ticket, I think it was like $75. And that was 2 years ago, probably, because I didn't go to see them last year, except Mondegreen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I guess that was $100 a day, but before that,
right.
I think at 23 it was $75. So you've gone up $25, which seems like a lot of money to go up.
And you've hit $100 a ticket. I mean, that's kind of a threshold that, it's funny they didn't go to like 99, because usually 99, you're like, okay, I feel a little bit about 99, but $100. Yeah, it sucks. But all in pricing, at least that's everything, right? All in. So that's kind of where that is. It's not 75 plus fees, and then it's like, so
right.
It's a little bit of a slap in the face, but at least that's all you're getting, all you're paying.
My thing is, how do you go on tour at that price? I mean, you have to be, I think, independently wealthy if you want to go on tour. It isn't like the old days when you could get a $25 ticket and sling a few grilled cheeses and you were good to go with enough gas to get across the state line,
You're saying, how do you afford to, how just tickets alone for going on tour minus gas, which we talked about, like summer tour, you're not gassing anyway, right? Like you're flying for most of those shows, at least from certain places to certain places, you're not driving anyway. But yes, tickets, gas. What's up, Devin? You rule. I
mean, I think I spent $400. I think I spent $400 to buy tickets for every show for Grateful Dead Summer '89, and that killed me that I wrote out that many little money orders. Remember, you said the right
Probably,
button.
I mean, you could price the whole thing up and say everything's increased so much: gas, lodging, food, everything. So tour isn't what it used to be. And to your point, slinging grilled cheeses, you really have to upcharge those grilled cheeses these days and the water and the beer to make the money to afford
Right.
the gas.
And it used to be able, you worked at a restaurant, you started off tour with a couple loaves of bread and a block of cheese you lifted from the restaurant. So you weren't even you didn't even have to buy anything till like the second city in.
The big tub of mayo that you took out of the restaurant with you.
Oh man, what? Oh, that? Oh, don't worry about that.
That's it.
God bless them. But so I guess I'm just thinking, I don't know. I might go to Pittsburgh. I really liked Pittsburgh in 19. I think it was the best show of the tour out of the 6 shows. We all know how the last night of Charlotte, how Tim always crushed that. Or not Charlotte, what's the name of that place in South Carolina?
Charleston.
Charleston, yes.
Yes,
Charlotte.
the infamous Charleston show. Our buddy Alex was at that show too. Yeah.
Yes. I did I have relatives. Part of my people came through Newport News from Portugal. So I still have a bunch of family down there. So every time I go, back in 89, the Dead played, my mom's like, "Are you going to stop by and see your Uncle Johnny?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to stop by and see my Uncle Johnny." God help him. All right.
It needs to be close enough though where it's an easy trek for you and affordable. That's all. It just needs to be, that's why it sucks it's not in your real backyard like MPP or something. But
right.
I feel like you could still probably do it for fairly cheap and go.
Yes, CW, the tour route does make sense at least on some
level. Well, yeah, it definitely does. On a short, what would we say it was 8 shows, 9 shows to run. So I love that. We talked about that. I like the compact little segregation of it. It's nice.
I'm a fan. Are we jumping? Yeah, let's jump. I think there's a lot to talk about with this because yesterday, no sooner did we finish that microdose pontificating about how it's probably going to really be a tour this time. What was that thing there? What did they say? Well,
what's funny is like right as we did it, we said that some of the media was picking up on it. And right after we did it, I don't know, it was a little bit after we did it, I sent you that thing and I was like, oh, look, Relics picked up on it too. And Relics put an article out saying the same thing. And then right after that, I don't know, a couple hours later, they put out a thing saying it was going to be the first official music video ever done for the song, and Saoirse Ronan was going to star in it, and it was going to be directed by Mike Mills, I guess. REM Mike Mills, that guy, Mike Mills. I'm assuming,
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
So that was the tease, and I think they had to break it early because it was starting to swell so much. Like it was one of those things that really started to take off. And I think they kind of were like, oh shit, people are going to be so pissed if we keep teasing them and it's not a tour and it's not even an album. It's nothing like cool. It's just a freaking music video of the song for its 50th anniversary or whatever. Like, boo.
Right. So
but I told you, I did say, even in that microdose, that if you go and watch the Pantages show of when they did Stop Making Sense that we have on wook+ from when I recorded it, it sounds very much like they are done. Like I said that after, I was like, I do not see them tour. I do not see them ever playing together again. Maybe like a benefit show or like a one-off type deal, but I don't ever see them. It just felt very final. Like there was no sense of, hey, we're going to do something. And so that's why this was interesting and like hopeful, but definitely with a grain of salt. And then as soon as the real news came out, it wasn't that surprising.
Right. Yes. My proofreader did not notice I spelled his name wrong. So, and I can't spell. I have dyslexia, everybody. So that's my issue with that. I always am seeing letters jump around. So anyway,
he's got a crazy accent. He's dyslexic and he's a poet. So you kind of throw all those together and it's a
mess. It's an absolute mess. Oh man. Well, Dave, but also Chris Francis said that the band never broke up, and they have all left. I think the other three have all left it open on some level that they would do it if given the chance.
Right.
But also, David Byrne yesterday said he's releasing his first full studio album since American Utopia in 2018. So, it's going to be with the 20+ member Ghost Train Orchestra. So, and he recorded it last year in New York City. So it's going to be jazz chamber music, experimental. It should be pretty weird.
It should be.
Have you ever heard his album My Life in the Bush with Ghosts that he did with Eno?
No.
It's a pretty fantastic. It was around the time he was doing all the really cool Talking Head stuff. He put this solo album out, and he has another one with Andy Summers called I Mask, which is really interesting too. But there was this great fertile period with like when Fripp got King Crimson back together with Adrian Belew, and the Talking Heads were putting out that stuff. It was a pretty cool moment in the early 80s.
It was indeed. And I think anything with him, you can expect it to be a little bit weird, but also very like polished. You know what I mean? Like very, very well done, well executed, so to speak. So he's got that crazy ability to meld the two things to be like far out creative, but then also
right. He put out an album back in like 2008, maybe with another one with Eno that was pretty neat. I can't remember the damn song off the top of my head. Strange something, and it ended up on a couple mix CDs because you used to make mix CDs. You could download the MP3s for free off of like blog sites. So I got so much great music back then. Now you can't. You can listen to it on the site, but you can't download it anymore.
Yeah.
I want to see the American Utopia, Jason. I think that would be cool. Strange Overtones. Thank you. Thank you so much. It wasn't that a great album, Swish? It was pretty fantastic. All right. You want to talk dead? What else is there to say? We were brined again.
Brined again. It's like the Brine Festival.
It's almost perfect.
All right.
They're going to have crawfish. All right. Here, ticket madness. 9,000 per day for VIP packages. On the Stubhub.
I was gonna say on secondary, right? Like, yeah, but still, that's kind of where we're at now, huh? With it, that's freaking crazy.
That is. Well, all right. Let's a little bit about what legacy versus luxury. Why don't we call it that? Maybe I should have called it that. Legacy versus luxury, because the Grateful Dead would play free shows in the 60s and 70s. They always kept their ticket prices low. They could have charged a lot more in 1989 than $20. They really could have back then, but they didn't, So like in 75, the Lindy Meadows show that they did, the Starship were on the bill, and they did all the Blues for Allah stuff, had Ned and Merle sit in with them, Ned Lanigan and Merle. 25,000 people showed up with no tickets. They let them all in.
Imagine that.
25,000 people showing up. I guess you don't have a choice but to let them in because you're going to have a riot if not,
I mean, that's a lot. That's like basically like a fish show showing up, like wanting to get in that couldn't get in on top of what was already inside, right? Like, what do you do with that?
Right. So I don't have all the numbers from the Spear Run, but apparently they grossed $21.6 million for the 6 shows in March.
Okay.
That's a lot of money. I mean, I realize they have a huge operation, and a third of the band, or half the band doesn't get paid what the other half of the band does.
Right. So I mean, that money gets split. So I mean, it's nice that they're making good. That really means nothing unless you know what the breakdown of everything is, right?
That's
Like you
about
could,
$3.5 million a show. 4 million. Oh yeah, 3.5 million a show. I mean, that's
so
a big payday.
yeah, but I mean, I would imagine a lot went into it as well, right? So I mean, obviously you're doing it to make a profit, but I'm sure there was a lot that went into it and payment and hours and shit to get it all done. So yeah,
I
and
see
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
it's
people,
their fault. I mean, it's not their fault that tickets are on secondary for $9,000. That's,
but
I
it
mean,
is. I think it is on some levels their fault because they could do lock tickets where if you bought the ticket, you had to be the one who used the ticket, or you had to sell it on a fan-to-fan site for the same price that you bought it for.
yes and no. I think it would be, I don't think you can say, yeah, sure, but I just don't think that they would do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like a lot. It's almost like PHiSH. It's like you just shrug your shoulders at it, kind of, right? You're like, 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 do we really want to do that and go through that hassle of that? Because then again, you're incurring more costs. You're incurring, and then you have angry fans that can't get rid of tickets. And yes, I get it, but I don't know. At the
Well, if you
same
can't
time,
get
they're
rid
just
of,
like,
like, I guess
here's your
part of it
festival.
would be you'd right. Well, part of it would be, let's say you paid $200 for your ticket or whatever, and you were trying to sell it on the fan to fan. Nobody was biting. You just dropped the price. You weren't forced to sell it for that. And the other part of the other component of that is Ticketmaster doesn't get a damn penny in fees off of that because what they try to do is stick people with $10 or whatever convenience fee or something when other bands I've seen have done that. You know, like The Cure, they locked the tickets down. If you bought the ticket, you had to use it, and they only charge $25 for lawn seats.
Yes, but that's a totally different animal. Like like you can't. The two aren't nearly in the same boat. Like, sure, I guess if you started planning this forever ago and like you had the infrastructure and the readiness to do something like that, but I think at the scale, you're the Cure compared to what this is. Like, I just don't think. Yeah, if that was the standard, yes, all the way across the board, sure, that would be
But
nice.
that's the thing. Somebody has to step up and do it. Every band can't say, "Oh, I'm waiting for someone else to do it."
Right, but I don't think bands like them aren't going to be the ones. I don't know. I just feel like, sure,
But
but
they
like
are
I
the
don't.
ones who should lead. Yeah, we do need some class action against the Stubhub there.
Yeah,
Scratchy,
there you go.
definitely. I'm all
But
in. I'm all in.
all
There
in
was a
against
class action lawsuit against Progressive Insurance Company. And somebody posted that they got like $900 from it
what?
because I guess
You,
for deceptive business
you get
practices.
anywhere from like 78 cents to like $2 from those fucking class action law
Right.
bullshits.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I did um I went to Kaplan University, right? To get my paralegal degree at one point, and it was worthless because no one accepted stuff from Kaplan University. So I got a letter. I got a letter from the
But you got
Department of
but you're a paralegal.
I did. I knew how to do. Well, I already knew how to do it. My granddad was a lawyer. When I was 18, he taught me. I was writing motions back then. But I got a letter from the Department of Education saying that I was eligible to have my loan vacated because they were a crap university that lied to
Right.
us.
Uh-huh.
So I got it. It disappeared, I guess, a year and a half ago. So I guess I made it under the wire because who knows what's going on at the Department of Education.
That's amazing. So they just threw it out because it was like Trump University. It was like a scam. They're like,
Right. Well, they said, I mean, it was a legitimate, they taught legitimate stuff. It just wasn't accredited. And they
right.
said they
Well,
were
for you to
accredited.
pay for or whatever. Right.
Right. If you're going to, and they, it's from home and they still charge you as much as going to a regular college. I mean, I did it online, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't go to law school. I got my paralegal degree.
Yes.
Because I had trouble getting a job doing it, even though I knew how to do it. Because they're like, have you gone with the professional association.
So do not take law advice from Kev.
Yeah.
Either.
Either. But that's what led me
he's
into
not a
real
doctor.
estate. That's what led me into real estate, though. I understood contract law, and I was like, I could do real estate.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I did that for 12 years. It was a little much. You know, it is. It's very stressing. Real estate agents age quickly. Yes. Right. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Oh, man. All right. You want to talk about festivals?
Festivals. I mean, coming out of the Dead & Co thing, going into festivals, we could talk about that. But I will say it is kind of, because what we're going to talk about, kind of the downside of festival type stuff with that is it's a positive to see the Dead & Co thing selling the way it did. I mean, it really,
right. Well,
yes, it sucks at that, but at least tickets kind of moved, and it sucks. It's a hard ticket to get, and it's ridiculously that expensive. But in the grand scheme of things, and what we're going to talk about next for the festival scene, it's also kind of a positive in terms of
you're close to Coachella. You've been there before. Coachella was a week before still trying to sell tickets this year.
Yeah, you can get tickets actually, a week of for the shows, which is unheard of. And like usually, I mean, they sell out right away day of, and layaways and everything. And so I was shocked when I heard that. And people actually got tickets early. I mean, late, like early the day of, like going. Like I was shocked, late, I should say, of that. So I don't know. I think that's a sign of other things, like we've talked about how many have shut down and low ticket sales, and not just like festivals, but I think concerts overall with low ticket sales. Like you've seen like some of the stuff with the Beyonce stuff lately in the stadium tour, but definitely the festivals that have a hard time running.
Pitchfork is not doing their festival this year. Music Midtown. Electric Forest is still having trouble selling tickets, and I thought that was one of those ones that was gold. They announced the lineup, people were there because it's such a special experience.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah. I mean, it really sucks, but I also think it's kind of a bigger picture type thing where I think festival, the uniqueness of it is sort of gone, and the how to stand out and make it really special is kind of gone. And I don't know, they're not what they used to be, and I think that comes on the fact that there's so many, for one thing, and
everybody has a festival.
Yeah, I mean, it's really true.
Well,
I feel like
we talked to Dave Katz about that from Acoustic Hookah. He was saying, when we started in '94, it was it. Well, what were they trying to do? Get an out or get indoor plumbing?
Indoor plumbing was the whole reason they started their thing. And they did, like, they've done 60 of them, right? Like this was their 60th. So I mean, they've always done like 2 a year, like they do them but whatever, to do that 60 times is so impressive. And I said that when we interviewed him, like, that's crazy to keep that going and to have like a fan base that shows up for that and continues to come. Like, that's built in, and that's awesome. And I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's people that I think, I don't think I don't know. It's weird. I think there's people that really enjoy picking one or two festivals to go to a year, and those are their like, they go to Stagecoach or they go to like that, you know what I mean? And that's that thing. I don't think there's as much jumping around as there used to be either, where you'd be like, well, I'm gonna go to Lollapalooza and I'm gonna go to Coachella and I'm gonna go to Jazz Fest, or like, you know what I mean? I don't think there's that much of that anymore, for one thing, just because the market's so saturated.
Right, but and also Taylor Swift goes on tour. You're paying $300 to walk in the door, right? So you take your wife or you take your kids or something, you're spending $1,000 to walk in the door, another 200 on merch minimum, plus whatever. So you're 1,500 in. You're not going to a festival too. That's your $1,500 you have to spend on entertainment for the whole summer, or maybe even the whole year,
Yeah. And I feel like you're not as, Yeah, you could just go see that and get your experience as opposed to spending, and like we just talked about with PHiSH, like the road, like traveling to the festival, staying over, either camping at the festival, it's gotten so expensive, or getting a hotel and having to like stay somewhere, and then transportation, and then like you always had to deal with it. But another thing, like the weather is always a factor. I don't know, there's just so much that goes into it. So it's a tough sled. Like I get it. And with so many of them, I don't know.
Right. I think we're using Taylor Swift and Coachella as an example of a pairing. We could go with, like, the other year, Paul McCartney played Camden Yards. It was $300 for tickets. I wanted to take my mom, and I was like, that's just completely crazy. I paid $400. It was $400 for Mondegreen, right? Isn't that what we paid? Something like that.
Would you rather see? I mean,
but that's how about this? Let me throw this out to you. People aren't willing to gamble on lineups they don't know too. You look at the lineup and you're like, oh, Tyler Childress, he's playing, I like him. I don't know the 19 other bands playing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing though? Like you probably know at least 4 bands on the lineup, right? Probably that that you could recognize when you go to a festival, and maybe 1 or 2 of the headliners you like. Okay. So then after that,
right.
That's it. That's what she's worth. Paul McCartney.
I love her, but oh man. So, all right. And I think another issue is, I'm going to throw this out, is the middleman. You used to have the promoter who might have got $1 a ticket. And now promoters are trying to pull as much out of a ticket as they're paying the artist. You got to get rid of the middleman, I think.
Yeah.
Live Nation is the middleman, by the way.
I think again, we talk about it all the time, but nothing's going to change until people make a change, or there's like a shift in like the audience and everything. And I don't know how that ever comes about. So I don't know. And I do think though, it'll be sad as we see festivals decline. I mean, maybe it's a good thing and they trims them down and we do need less. So maybe it's a good thing, but it'll be sad if it goes too far and it overcorrects itself and we lose some of them or the fun of them or whatever. And did you see, by the way, your Fire Festival, your Fry Festival is now like a hotel experience getaway is what it is. I didn't read the whole thing. I just saw the post for it, but yeah, it's now, the scam is now, I think you go and stay at like a posh hotel on some island or some shit. No music.
Get a hot rock massage.
Hot stone massage
sandwich. It's ugly. It's just, the whole thing is pretty ugly. I saw them talking about Goose there, and I've been doing this weird thing because Gizzard has been playing in the afternoon because they're in like Athens in Portugal, right? And they live stream everything for free, so you can watch that. And I've been catching the Goose stream at night, and it is such a strange dichotomy that those are like the 2 biggest things below PHiSH.
Yeah.
In the scene. I mean, Gizzard's almost punk, some of it, and some of it's metal, and it's just evil, and then they do the weird synthesizer thing that they all bring out, and they're all in the middle of the stage. Just totally crazy.
It's totally crazy. It's totally fun. It reminds you of like the stupid shit that PHiSH used to do when you'd go see a show and it would just be bonkers. And you're like, what am I seeing? Why is he playing a vacuum? Like, what is going on here? Why is this happening? You know what I mean? Or like, why are they running around switching instruments right now? And that was the chaos and the fun of it. So I love that they do that, and they rock. Like, it just rocks.
It does. And I tell you, I've been watching the Goose shows too. And I must say that once they dropped the extra weight and got slimmed down and a little meaner, I really enjoy it more. I mean, they still have some songs that I'm just like, oh my God, that's cringe. They had this thing, Your Ocean, last night that I was like, God, come on, guys. But then they would do like some heavier jams. I think they finally broke free of all Bliss all the time, which is what I got a lot from them in the
Mhm.
past.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll see what happens with that. And Gizzard, I think Gizzard has a larger catalog too to pull from.
Yeah. Possibly.
They have to. They released like 6 albums in 1 year. I love it. Good for them. Do you know that they let anybody remix their stuff? They have the stems up.
Amazing. It's so cool.
You know, it's just that's the way the Grateful Dead was at one time. If stems had have existed. Yeah,
It's really
that Peter
cool.
guy does seem very happy, Michael. He seems like a happy dude. Where's Waldo? Do they have Where's Waldo gear on Gooselot with him? Because that's totally. I mean, you put a red cap on that guy and a striped shirt.
Striped shirt.
Oh man! So bring back smaller festivals. Get rid of the corporate takeover. You know, I want to go see. Right. Actually, they're having something called Baygrass the same weekend as Hampton in Annapolis, Maryland. And it's got this incredible lineup, like Lamps on it, and the infamous Stringdusters, maybe the Green Sky Bluegrass, but just a really bunch of cool bands. And I think it's $100 for the 2 days.
For 2 days.
For 2 days. So I'll be probably doing that during the day, rushing home, watching PHiSH, and doing the after shows.
That's fun. Like, that's really cool. See, smaller festivals. That's a lot of fun. I love that. That's very cool.
Right. Hampton, man. I don't know. Everybody will be in Hampton. I know it sucks that they announced it like a week before PHiSH when the same dates. Somebody should have told them. I mean, we got a heads up about the Hampton thing months ago. We were talking about it, and everyone laughed and said, "What are you talking about?" I don't know if I'm going to Hampton, man. I love Hampton. It is the coolest place in the world because it is a true general admission place. You walk in, you can be on the floor or in the stands. It isn't like Dick's where you buy a stand or a field ticket. And I mean, just the legacy of that place. You know, PHiSH is finally going to pass the Grateful Dead for shows played there. They're tied at 21 now.
That's pretty cool.
Right. If you throw the Jerry shows in, I think PHiSH will still be ahead. I don't think Trey's ever played there. I don't think his solo band ever got that big.
I don't think he has either. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably has not.
Probably has not. That's what you call a pause.
Has not.
I got a bunch of stuff we can talk about. Do you like Mo? Where are you at on
Do you
Mo?
like Mo?
I love Mo. I got my first Mo bootleg like 2 or 3 years after they were in, and I was like, these guys, that's fun stuff there, because they were 2 guitars, bass, and drums at the time. So it was different than the standard. We got to have a keyboard player and, you know, the standard 4-piece thing. The thing is, they're releasing an album through Relics that they did at the Brooklyn Bowl. That's 4 LPs.
Okay.
Which is pretty crazy. Do you buy a 4 LP thing? It's only 1,500 copies. They're going with the Grateful Dead model, kind of.
The exclusivity of the 4 LPs.
Yes, that's what it is. And
I think it's a good idea.
Blue metallic.
Blue metallic, huh?
Yes, and green, yellow, fluorescent. So I guess one album's one and then the other. Where are you on colored vinyl? Because I think colored vinyl is absolute garbage. I want black vinyl that's 180 grams. Not some flimsy thing that you play and you play it 3 times and the grooves are ruined on it.
Now, let me ask you, we need Llama on here because he could answer this because he's a fucking little vinyl head. Does all the like colored vinyl and painted vinyl and all that shit, is it always less? Because sometimes I feel like you can get, like, it'll say it's a heavier vinyl and it's the dyed record or whatever. So it's not always the shittier version, right? Like, I mean, sometimes they do it right.
I don't know. I've never had a colored vinyl that I bought that I play it once and it just didn't have the feel of, I got a bunch of
Like
Yeah,
it's like the black leather or something, right? You're like, oh, it's
or
just so
black licorice,
rich
right?
and juicy. Like this is what I like.
I got
You're
a
like,
bunch
I
of
don't want
78s that were my grandparents, and those
uh-huh.
things weigh like a pound a piece. They're like an inch thick. And it's all opera, so I've never listened to it. I'm like, what?
See, I think the splatter looks really cool sometimes on some of them, or like some when they do the weird designs or do something funky with it or press it with like I think that is super cool, but I think it's more of like a okay, so they are worse quality, even if it is
Well,
whatever.
he's specifically talking about the picture disc that you'd have hanging on your wall with like Ozzy Crazy Train or
Right.
something like
Well,
that.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like wouldn't like so if you get those as I feel like it's more of an art piece than a playing piece,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
you would want to frame it or like, you know, frame the two together because it's kind of cool to have it out and not
I like it when the
play.
record's halfway out of the cover in a frame.
Oh yeah,
So
there
it
you
is like
go.
sitting next
Right.
to
And
it.
have that
That's
out.
cool.
That's cool instead of it being totally out. I like that. There you go. Look at that. Home decor. We've become a home decor show. Let us know
Right.
how you like your living room situated. But
Right.
yeah, I think that's what you do with those, and that's why they do those. I wouldn't buy them then to actually play to like break out and be like, here we go. Let's listen to this. The classic black.
I got back into vinyl during COVID because I had
Uh-huh.
nothing but time. So I bought, and everybody was releasing something. Special limited release. Oh, I gotta get that. Oh, why'd I spend $40 on that?
Gotta get that.
I got into Discogs too, but I had to cut myself off because I'd be like, "Oh, that's a cool album. I'll buy that. I'll buy." And then you're like, "I spent $100 in the past 20 minutes. What am I doing? Put it away." It's so fun to get an album in the mail. The best, well, the Record Club, Columbia Records. Eventually it was CDs and tapes and things, but the original when they sent you the box with the album, and you'd get like Men at Work's second album, and you're like, "Oh man, there's no hits on this. Who can it be now?"
There's no hits on that.
Damn it. That's why they sent it to me. And you never remember to send it back. So you ended up with all these albums that you're like, why do I have an Air Supply album? What's happening to me?
Because I never sent it back and I never listened to
it. So they also had a date. They're doing their 35th anniversary tour. They're going to play Halloween in Florida, and they're going to co-headline with the infamous Stringdusters at the Joy Theater in New Orleans. So that'll be interesting. Very nice. Do you like the Pigeons? Speaking of the infamous Stringdusters, Baltimore's own Pigeons playing ping pong apparently did a show in Westport, Connecticut the other night and traded. They got on stage with each other, so that's interesting. I like that.
That's
they
fun.
didn't have minutes front. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the sit-ins. Mo and Government Mule used to do a thing where Government Mule would play, Mo would slowly come out, they'd switch off instruments. Mo would be playing Thorazine Shuffle then, and they'd go into one of their songs, Plane Crash or something, and then slowly Government Mule would come back out, start playing Plane Crash, and then go back and finish Thorazine Shuffle or something.
I love sit-ins. We talk about that all the time. Like, I love it. Not so much when it gets
no fish.
Not so much when it gets too big. Like, but I do appreciate a sit-in, like like when bands do sit in with each other, or you get like a guest for a couple of songs or whatever. And I think it's even cooler when it's on the smaller band level, when it's on those like lower tier bands, because I think that just shows like such cool community and love for each other, and like we're all in this together, trying to like get through it and rise together and sort of like do this. And so the more they play together and the more like they form those kind of cool friendships and playing things, it's even cooler down the road to see that turn into something and form other bands or form other tours or other festivals and then having them play together. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very cool thing. Yeah.
Yes. Give me Trey sitting in with somebody else, Well, we were T and I are having a debate behind the scenes about a not a short, but a shorter form piece that we want to do about Jerry Garcia sit-ins on studio albums of other people, like Teach Your Children. And we're having trouble just figuring out, does it need music under it? Because you get popped with music.
Right, and it's very hard to
platform.
find a legit good licensed track that makes sense under what you're trying to tell with the
It all sounds
story.
like slick Miami Vice, pop or something. All
Exactly.
those tracks
Or
they
rock
have.
with lyrics that you're like, why are there lyrics in this
Right.
fucking song that I don't need lyrics in? But yeah, it's true. And like that's one of those, the Jerry sit-ins with and that's a unique thing too, because that's something you don't really talk about a lot, or sit-ins on albums. Like those kind of just, and it's one of those things too you really never talk about, because you don't ever really appreciate who sat in or who's played on things. Even then, reading that list of hours, I was like, oh, Jerry was in that. That's really fascinating. And then it almost makes me want to learn more. I'm like, I need to look this up and like see, or now go listen to this song too, because I'm intrigued to hear him on this. So I think the studio is especially interesting, because it's one of those things too. You want to hear the story. Oh, so-and-so just happened to be there that day, or we had always planned on working together. And so like, this was the song we decided to cut together, or like whatever. It's always fascinating to me. I prefer it live because I think it's the energy and the improv and the fun of doing it together live, and seeing that happen live, and the crowd being, whether or not they know it, is always fun too. So yes, but I think it's always a cool thing. Sit-ins are always fun.
Right. Well, my thing with an album is when a band goes in and records something in a studio, I call that the artifact. It's like trapped in time. So it's cool to go back and hear Garcia playing with Art Garfunkel or something in the 70s, and then listen to him playing with Ornette Coleman in the late 80s, and how his guitar sound changed in between those two things.
And the songs that he played on, and just the way music changed, and the style of songs that he played on in those two songs, but across his career, it's fascinating. It's cool.
Right. Dave was an Alligator. Didn't Graham Nash give him Alligator? Wasn't that Strat? I think. Yes, I love Birds Against Empire, somebody mentioned, which is one of the most fantastic albums. First time I heard it was second night of Alpine in 89, sitting in some wook+LIVE van at 3 a.m. We had eaten an electric peach, and he puts that on and he starts talking about the government and all this kind of. He was a conspiracy theory guy way back when, but I went home and I looked for that album for months, and then finally found it at a yard sale for $1. And I was like, yes. And it had the whole book. Like the book in it was hand-drawn pictures by Grace Slick, and the lyrics written out, not each one, but it was a photocopy of it. And just fantastic. Fantastic stuff.
That's cool.
Yep. So really Eric Clapton, he's your guy.
Man, yes, he is my guy. I do love me some Eric Clapton. Fuck off.
No blow, no show.
No blow, no snow, no show.
No snow, no show. That's what it was. Oh man. So he wrapped up his tour in Nice, France. See, I didn't say nice.
His spring tour. Yeah.
Yep. John McLaughlin came out with him on the encore and did Bo Diddley's Before You Accuse Me, which I guess I'm just throwing that out because it's cool.
And listen, like White Room, Key to the Highway, Sunshine of Your like it's so. I mean, it's a good show. I would love to see the show. It's so.
Right.
Yeah, and then McLaughlin came out for Bo Diddley's Before You Accuse Me.
Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself.
He's doing a 6-show East Coast tour starting September 8th in Nashville, and then an MSG on the 19th.
Have you ever seen Clapton?
Yes.
I've seen Clapton 4 times. Back when he did the 80s albums, when he was putting out all that stuff in the 80s, which some of those songs, you know how I am with the classic rock bands trying to reinvent themselves in the 80s. Some of that stuff's like the best stuff to me. But he always did put on a fantastic show. His bass player one tour sang Presence of the Lord. They did Presence of the Lord, that blind faith tune. And God, this guy had a voice like an angel. You saw his farewell tour in 01. That's great, Josh.
I am using a stand-up desk, Mike, because of my shoulder. I can't sit, so I have to keep my shoulder like bent at my side. So I have to stand. And don't worry, Piper is crashed out in her bed right next to me on the floor, so she's fine. Don't worry. But yes, I can't sit until hopefully next week. It's a real struggle, man.
Yep.
But thank you for noticing.
Asking.
But yeah, I think I didn't even know he was touring Europe. So cool. And I didn't even know he was actually touring here either. I didn't know he had an East Coast tour through this summer.
I tell you, someone else who turned out to be a poop head in their old age is Van Morrison.
Well, yeah, we talk about that all the time.
Morrison.
Those two.
Yeah, with all my soul. I love his later stuff. Everything he ever did. I will listen to like Hymns to the Silence and all that kind of stuff. And I feel a little dirty sometimes, but because some of it's so pure. Like no guru, no method, no teacher. It's this really high Zen thinking in the lyric. And then he turns around and he's like, I'm not wearing a mask. Does my dad have a helmet on? Where's my
It's
dad?
so hard with things like that. Like your heroes, when your heroes suck, it really sucks. Like it really, really sucks. And it's really hard to separate shittiness from your love of something, or like to separate the art from the person, the artist, or separate your feelings from that. It's hard. It's really hard. And it's shitty that it comes to that. It's just like, I mean, it's everywhere now. Like it's a problem with art in general. I mean, look at the fucking Harry Potter, the J.K. Rowling shit. Like, I mean, all those poor people love Harry Potter fans. It's so hard to like.
Oh, my poor daughter, man. We went and got the books when they came out at midnight at the bookstore and shit.
And now all her fans and all the people that are like the stars of the movie too are all like, fuck off. Like, what is wrong with you? So it's like, I don't know. Shit like that is so hard.
Still going through with the TV adaptation, which I don't know.
And all the rides at Universal, all that shit. But that's the problem too. It's too big to fail now, right? Like it's so big. How do you cancel it because of her and shit? So like, and how do you separate the two things? This terrible creator human being and this fantastic children's. It's so hard. And it's the same thing in music, not to get off track, but like it's the same thing here where it's like, when your musician heroes suck ass, but you love their music, you're like, fuck.
So I tell you what's become a cottage industry is after shows. Then come the after shows. PHiSH after shows are huge. There's a guy, Joe Marcinek, who we talked to a couple weeks back, who's doing a Chicago shows, Austin shows. Denver apparently now is going to have Lettuce and Wu-Tang's GZA, am I supposed to pronounce that some way, are going to do an after show. So we're going to get some Lettuce with Wu-Tang.
Lettuce and Wu-Tang at Cervantes Masterpiece Ballroom, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go.
And when is this?
July 4th. You'll be there.
Over the PHiSH run.
I'm sure you'll be real into doing an after show.
Yeah, man, that's especially in Denver, getting from Boulder to Denver after that's a commitment. Go for it if you can do it. If you can do it, go for it. Don't forget Tabor's Choice is playing a Night Zero show in Boulder at the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now.
And the Austin show with this guy Joe Marcinek has he's having Krasno as second guitarist and Reed Mathis on bass, and I'm totally forgetting the drummer's name off the top of my head, and then the other one has George Porter. The one in Chicago is like Melvin Seals and George Porter with them. It's called the Dead Funk Summit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's going to be huge. I did an after show. I went and saw Big Something after the first night of Nashville in 21, and I was not in any right mind at that night, and this woman comes up and starts twerking in front of me while Big Something's playing. Big Something really isn't twerking music. And it was Missy. She was having her bachelorette party that night. And I was amazing. Like, oh, I know you.
Oh, I miss Missy and Adam. I miss them. I hope they're doing good. They were great. That's so funny. That's great though. Like that's That's really funny. Very cool. After shows, if you hit them right, like I just have a problem getting from venue to another venue after a show. Like
And you
when
had
I
a
was
half hour.
after Dead and Co played the Forum in 20, right before COVID, like literally right before COVID shut everything down. When they played that December show, my buddy and I were walking back to our car and just happened to stumble across the Miracle Theater in Inglewood that was like on the way back, and the Higgs were playing, and we were like, oh man, we're gonna check this out. And so like the show started at like midnight, 12:30, and ran till like 2. It was fucking perfect. We just like stumbled in. We're like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I need right now. The perfect after show. So
The Higgs
show like that's
stuff.
amazing.
I've tried to get them on before, and they're just not very good with
they're
that
not
kind of thing.
They're not. They're so much fun though. Oh god, they're such a great band. I love them.
I tried to get this woman Jessie Sykes to come on, and she was into it, but she's like, it isn't like on camera, is it? I was like, yeah, we're a YouTube channel. So I'm trying to figure out whether I want to do just a podcast with her, because she plays with Dave Alvin from the Blasters and Mark Coran are all in a band together, and it's really good stuff. Really, I cannot think of the name though. There we go. That's called Old Person's Brain.
Nice. All right, Kev, are you ready for it? I'm gonna play it. You ready for your minute?
Yeah, let's do it. The Neil Young Minute. Neil Young has invited the President of the United States to his tour. If there is not martial law by then, is what he was quoted as saying. He says that the shows will be about music, not politics, but he also referenced Trump's history of enjoying Neil Young. So, and if you remember, Trump sued Neil Young sued Donald Trump for using "Rockin' in the Free World" at his rallies. So very interesting.
How totally punk of Neil to invite Trump to come along.
And that is your the Neil Young Minute.
Love it. Love it.
Peter Negroponte, he was great with that last week. He was like, that's cool. Man, we got to get him back on after they get their album out. That was so fun having him last week.
That was a lot of fun. That was great.
Yep. So what do we have on the calendar coming up?
What do we have on the calendar coming up? What is this week? What do we got? I don't know.
I know later in the month we do.
What?
The after shows, the after PHiSH after
when
show.
When does tour start?
I think like the 20th.
Oh yeah, that's right. We are officially in June. I keep forgetting that, and so we are in tour month.
Right, we get the 20th, 21st, 22nd in New Hampshire, and then the 24th for a one-off in Pittsburgh, and then I guess the next weekend is Austin.
I can't believe it's already here.
To Austin.
It's been kind of nice being in this like shoulder bubble because I haven't been able to think of anything else, and now kind of coming out, you're like, oh yeah, tour's about to start. Like things are happening. All right, fantastic. That's gonna be amazing.
You know,
I can't wait. So yeah, we got that coming up. What else we got coming, Kev? We got any
on the 18th? On the 18th, we're trying to get Scott Marks to come back on. He seems to be our pre-tour go-to hang. Always an interesting talk. Last time we had him on, if you remember, Benji was on with him. So Benji talked a lot because Benji is a really good
love
talker.
The two of them together though, and it was just a wealth of knowledge. We didn't really have to do anything. It was kind of like running on Copilot the whole night. Like you just kind of like flip on the autopilot and let them go and sit back and listen.
Exactly. Absorb, get the knowledge there.
And yeah, go check us out on social. Go to the Discord. Check out the Hanging with Marvin guys Discord. I think they're streaming stuff too. I think they stream some of the shows. They'll probably be streaming tour, and I think they're streaming the Goose. If you're into Goose, like Kev is right now. See, all you guys get into Goose, man. Tim dabbles his feet. Now Kev's dabbling his feet.
I said I was gonna. I told myself I was gonna listen to the whole tour. and see what I thought about it, but I just have a feeling that as I go through it, sometimes Rick's voice, I don't like when I like when Rick sings like he's yelling across the playground at his buddies or something, as opposed to the softer kind of singing. I just don't dig it, and I don't dig some of the songs. I don't know.
I hear you. I'm the same way. I have one song that I like, and that's about it as far as my Goose's songs go. And I never hear him play that song, so it's like a rarity. So I'm even worse off. So like, whatever. When it's around, I sometimes check it out, and then I'm always like, oh, no, I don't really like them. But hey, to each your own. Like, I'm glad you guys enjoy them, and go watch them on the fucking Discord.
The thing is, like, I say to Goose people, like, I like that song Yeti, and they're like, that song, and I'm like, that song's cool because it's irreverent. It's there's a big thing with being meaningful, and I don't believe that music has to be meaningful.
Well, see, but that just shows you right there, like they've gotten so big and their fan base has gotten so big that now they can exclude people who want to like come in and be like, oh, I really like this song. Like, Newey, like fuck that song. You don't know, like whatever, man. Back of the line, pal.
I tell you what, I saw the last time they played when the Saints come. Oh, what would they play? Little Liza Jane. So maybe we'll get a Little Liza Jane breakout.
There you go.
I saw them on Mardi Gras.
Covers.
They played Mardi Gras one year.
I'm just glad. I'm just thrilled that my claim to fame with them is the first and only show I've ever seen of them was at the Troubadour. So I can at least give them props for that. So
right, and that's your limited experience. I saw them do the trade tour. I saw a show at the Met, and there's an infamous picture of me asleep in the friends and family section in the balcony. What can I do?
Mouth wide open, snoring.
I got all these dirty looks from Ryan Storm and other people because I was sitting there with Greg Knight, and Greg Knight was telling me my wife's pregnant, my girl's pregnant. And we started talking about kids, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna love this and this and that." And every time I'd look up, somebody be looking over,
chomping. See that Kevin Greg back there chomping away, chompers. I miss Greg. God, I miss Greg. Jeez, man, there's a guy we haven't had on
we should
forever.
get him back on.
We should. Fantastic. Oh, he's such a great dude. I miss Greg.
He did such fantastic work in the Moon Cabin series that we did.
He did. He really did. He really, really did.
He totally did. Yeah, I don't think the auto-tune either, Frank. That's probably part of what my
performances in that. I mean, it's good shit. What's up, Jason? What up, Jason?
So yeah, I guess I'll be watching Goose.
Is that it? Got any other house cleaning for us? Got any other news other than summer tour?
No, I guess I'm going to try to do the Friday show one more time. I haven't quite figured out what it is yet. It's difficult when you're alone because I have my notes, but with you here, I throw it out, you talk about it, and then, we work back and forth off of that. So,
maybe you need an AI robot with you.
Right,
to chat with. You need a Kev bot,
right? Either that or I need to record it beforehand, and then that way I can like pull up the internet, and I can like go to a story and the people can see the story instead of me having a screenshot of like a picture of Billy Strings sitting in with Primus or something. So nice. I think that's our story, though. I know somebody said we should go longer, so it went right up to when Goose started playing, but T needs to
Goose play. Oh yeah, is the Goose? When's Goose go on? What time? It's 8 o'clock. Were they in Denver tonight?
Or 7:30? They're playing.
Are they playing? Are they in Denver tonight? Is this a Fiddler's Green show?
No, it's Phoenix tonight.
By the time I get to Phoenix,
yeah, great song.
All right, are they playing in Phoenix? The same place PHiSH played a couple years ago. Desert. What's the?
I don't know. Where are they playing in Arizona? I know
where are they playing, Mike Scruven. Is it like the Fiddler's Green place? Because that's the kind of thing that PHiSH played at. That what was it called? I'm looking at the poster actually. It's right in front of me.
Thank you, Radio Star Killer.
Auction Pavilion.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Radio is that you just keep pushing.
Keep on pushing.
Figure it out.
All right, guys. Oh, it's indoors. It's an indoor show. Oh,
yeah.
Never mind. Then
they played Brooklyn Bowl last night, which must have been really cool. That place holds 3,500, maybe 4,000.
Who played Brooklyn Bowl last night?
In Vegas. That's where PHiSH played. I mean, Fish. That's where
Fish.
Goose played
What?
last night. Goose played at
Oh,
Brooklyn
Goose
Bowl
played
in
Vegas last night at the Brooklyn Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Goose played Vegas last night at the Brooklyn Bowl? That's really cool. That's really fun.
But that place is what? 3,500, 4,000 tops, maybe?
Yeah, it's small. That'd be fun.
So, all right. Thanks,
bowl
guys.
Bowl a few frames, listen to some Goose. Now, that would be the way I could probably listen to Goose, right? Like I could do some bowling, eat some nachos, have Goose on in the background. There we go.
Is that chomping by another name actually bowling when the ball hits the pins? I think
well, and if you're bowling, you're allowed to talk. So like, because you're kind of off to the side, so you could be chomping at the bowling alley while you're also chomping on your food. So, I mean, I think there's something there. Goose could be a bowl band.
There you go.
All right, well, go join the Discord, and through that, go check out the guys in Marvin and watch the show through there if you're into that kind of thing. And
think about becoming a member. I do a Monday morning thing. There's about 16 people who watch it every week. I'm not sure if it's the same 16 people, but that's always fun. A couple people actually come live at 9 in the morning and get in the chat with me and try to help me. Forbin.
That's Kev's army. Those 16. That's the beginning right there. That's it. I love it.
Over. I'll be all serious before you know it.
Kev's army coming for you. It's gonna build pretty soon. It'll be 30,000 strong.
But they have that Jamband radio. It's only online. Come on, give me 3 hours on a Sunday.
Man of the people, man. That's when you'll be able to like see nachos. Oh, we got nacho fans. Nachos are my favorite. Actually, just melted cheese is my favorite, especially bad melted cheese.
You can't put beans. Beans get soggy.
No beans. Just cheese.
Especially not refried. If anything, a little black bean.
Aw.